Hello, welcome to Monday Night's Hotline Live with Record Sport. My name is Daniel Caw. Tonight, we have an exclusive interview with Rangers legend Barry Ferguson on the club's transfer dealings and title hopes, and we'll also hopefully be joined by former Grade 1 referee Des Roach to pour over all of the weekend's controversial VAR calls. But for now, I'm joined by the one and only Keith Jackson. Keith, how's it going?
What do you mean we'll hopefully be joined by Des Clark?
I'd just like to leave myself that wee get out. And Des Roach, Keith.
Oh, that's why I keep doing that.
Come on, Granda, get with the programme.
Oh, Des man. Do you know something? I feel like I'm miles away from you. We've got a really funny camera thing going on in here tonight, and I feel like I don't know, sitting at the top of some extended dining room table or something like that.
You still look lovely.
Good.
I mentioned obviously. Thanks. I mentioned obviously that Barry Ferguson. We have an exclusive interview with him. I know you caught up with him earlier on today, and there's been a lot of transfer chat about Rangers, not just today, but in recent days.
Yeah,
it's fair to say he's quite excited by it.
Well, I think the Rangers supporters will be delighted because they know that their team, somehow or other, by hook or by crook, has got itself involved in a title race, which shouldn't be happening right now, given the almighty mess that Russell Martin made of Rangers earlier this season. And yet here they are, going into the new year, right in the thick of it. And they've got a new owner who is clearly prepared to dig deep, to finance it, to try and improve things. I think a guy in Andrew Kavanagh who has accepted that mistakes have been made, a whole bunch of mistakes have been made, but they're actively involved in this title race, and Andrew Kavanagh is going to do everything by the looks of things to make sure that Danny Rowe's hand is improved for the second part of the season. Obviously, the link today is with Danish international winger Andreas Skov Olsen. Now, if Rangers can land this guy, then it's really serious. It's a really serious statement of intent.
40 caps for Denmark.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about the importance of the transfer windows is to use it as an opportunity to upgrade in positions. If Rangers can get Skov Olsen in the door, that's an upgrade. Being no doubt about it. I think Wolfsburg paid £12 million for him. Experienced international at a young age as well, and just a real. He would be a real bit of stardust, and Rangers badly need that in the final third. They've struggled to create. They have become, set piece FC, and they're perfectly happy with that. But I think they need to be more creative in open play. And I think a signing like that would really strengthen their hand going into the second part of the season. I think that'd be a real terrific bit of business. And I did speak to Barry Ferguson about him earlier, and you can hear he makes a very interesting comparison, Dan. No spoilers. But yeah, there's a couple of players they're looking at from Sunderland. Dan Neil, midfielder. I think he would be a sort of short-term kind of loan deal to beef up the numbers now that Connor Barnes looking to 2-3 months on the sidelines, as revealed here in Hotline Live last week. Yep. There's another player at Sunderland, Mundell, but he's a winger. So is that somebody that we would be looking to pursue if they manage to get a deal done for Skov Olsen? We believe that these talks around a potential move for Skov Olsen are currently ongoing. So whether or not Rangers can get this done nice and early in the transfer window, that'd be even better, wouldn't it, for them? So yeah, there's a lot at play. Meanwhile, across the city, I think tempers are continuing to run pretty high because of the lack of activity.
Honestly, Keith, I'm getting to the point where it's bizarre what's going on at Celtic. Utterly bizarre.
Well, maybe even more so today. By bringing Stephen Welsh back on loan from not on loan, but ending his loan spell at Motherwell, and Martin O'Neill has, in just about half an hour, 20 minutes before we came on air, did an interview with the club's own TV station, admitting that the only reason he's done it was because he doesn't have the numbers, and Celtic haven't been active in the transfer market, and it's left him short. And he doesn't want to take any chances, and he's actually quite apologetic because he knows that Stephen Welsh is having a brilliant season, thoroughly enjoying what's going on at Motherwell. And, you know, even to the point that I think Martin O'Neill has said, if it's possible, we could send him back to Motherwell on loan once our board finally get the finger out and make some signings. So, and then you've got Hearts just motoring along. Thank you very much. Jamestown Analytics, Tony Bloom. Yep. So, yeah, it's every day there's a sort of fresh twist, isn't there? But I think the news about Skov Olsen, I think that should be really exciting for Rangers supporters, and you know, Barry Ferguson will probably tell you why.
No, I completely agree. It would be or certainly on paper, it looks like it would be a brilliant signing. We will be joined by Des Roach a little bit later on.
Des Clark.
Des Clark, aye. Before we do that, shall we?
I get a mental block.
Shall we have a listen to your chat with Barry Ferguson and hear what he was saying earlier on today?
Go for it.
Let's do that.
And I'm joined by Barry Ferguson, as you can see. Barry, listen, it wasn't all that long ago you wrote a column saying that the league title was still doable for Rangers. I don't think many people believed you at the time. You feeling validated?
No, listen, it's still early stages, but I said at the time, and I firmly believed it, that in terms of what was going on at Celtic, how Rangers were doing under Danny Rowe, and obviously Hearts had dropped a few points at that, and then obviously Rangers go to Tynecastle and Hearts get a brilliant result, and then you think, oh, here we go. But listen, the results over the last couple of weeks, 5 wins out of 5, has been really good. So listen, can't complain. I'm not getting overconfident, as I said to you. It's definitely still doable, but it's definitely a 3-horse race, and I honestly believe that will go right down to the wire, this league title.
That was a massive result to go to Pittodrie and get the 3 points, wasn't it? On the back of beating Aberdeen at Ibrox, so there was always going to be a different game up there.
It wasn't. Well, you've seen the weather conditions as well. Before the game, you're thinking, this could be anything. Looking at the game, I thought the first half was pretty even, although Aberdeen never really threatened. I thought Rangers were quite comfortable. They get the goal. And then, listen, they got the second goal. I've watched it a couple of times. I know he puts his arm across the goalkeeper, but for me, come on. It's
jumping into him.
It's a physical game. But look, that's the rules. Chopped off. Rangers got it at half-time. And then I thought they came out in the second half and they controlled it. They really controlled it. Aberdeen never offered anything, very little, if I'm being honest with you. And then we get the penalty. Tav slots it away as he normally does. And then we shoot the game really well. So a brilliant 3 points. And it's always a notoriously tough place to go. And you take into the equation of the weather conditions as well. So and then brilliant 3 points, back down the road, and then focus on the next game, which is in the Scottish Cup.
And another scoosh gate at the end of it as well.
I know. I was hoping you weren't going to bring that up. I seen it. Look, I think if you ask Nico, he'll probably think he was stupid doing that. No need. Listen, you go up to a difficult place. You do your job. I thought he was really good again, Nico, in the middle of the pitch. He kind of controlled it with Dio in there as well. Then just go off the pitch. Listen, you've done your job. You've got your 3 points. Get in the shower. Get your trackie on. Back down in the bus. Job done.
Yeah. I mean, we saw some incidents with players getting pelted as well. It was just a tousy night, wasn't it?
That's always the case when you go up there. It's always like a kind of a toxic environment. It's always been like that. And I'm sure the players who haven't played up in Aberdeen before, I'm sure the players that have played would have obviously let them know that it's going to be a tough place to go. The Aberdeen fans are always on at you. They're giving you stick. But look, that's part and parcel of it. When I get stick for the stands, it kind of motivated me even more. And that's the way it looked to me with the Rangers players. You've seen the first goal. obviously all sorts coming on the pitch. It's not a good look, is it, when it's on,
No.
when it's live on TV? But take that to the side, or put that to the side. Overall, I thought it was a very good Sunday afternoon or Sunday tea time for Rangers.
Yeah, and I think the fact that all three of them, you know, Hearts with 10 men, brilliant result.
I watched it before, and that was the acid test for me. The goalkeeper gets sent off just before half time. Craig Gordon comes on. He pulls a good save off the free kick.
Yeah.
And then I knew what Derek McInnes's team talk would have been at half time.
Just defend the penalty box.
No, not just that. People will be thinking this is us. We're going to go under here, and Dundee are going to beat us. So go and prove that you've got the credentials to challenge for the league title. And I thought his team in the second half, albeit Dundee pushed them, I thought that they defended the 18-yard box brilliantly. I thought Finlay and Halkett were immense at the back, and then an old goalkeeper at 43 pulls off a save that I actually thought was in.
So it's just a world there.
I know, honestly, when the Dundee boy headed it, I actually thought it was in the net.
Yeah.
And how
it's behind him when he claws it out. It's astonishing. See.
Oh, absolute ridiculous save, unbelievable. And for a 43-year-old, agility. Yeah, you've got to give him credit, ain't you? For the age, he looks to me if he's getting better. Craig Gordon.
Yeah.
That is the mental thing about it. But what a save! And see games like that and results like that. That just tells me now that Hearts are in this. There's no doubt Hearts ain't going to go away. Listen, they might drop points, they might lose a game, they might draw a few games, but they're not going away anywhere. No chance.
But I think Celtic sent out a wee message as well, getting back into the rhythm under Martin O'Neill, a good solid win. So I think it's all just gearing up. Barry, I want to speak to you while I've got you just about some of the transfer stuff that's floating around today. A lot of Rangers fans getting excited about Andres Skov Olsen, a link with the Wolfsburg winger. You could tell why they'd be excited. He's a very good player. What's your thoughts on it? Do you think it's a goer?
It's a high possibility. It's an area. He plays off the right. He's a natural wide player. I think Wolfsburg spent 12 million quid on him. He's a Danish international. So, actually, when I seen it, I sat down the day and I watched a few clips of him. Listened to a few people speak about him. Highly regarded. Sometimes you make a move for that amount of money. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. So, he's obviously itching at the bit to play. And I think Rangers would be a brilliant platform for him. And if you think back 18 months ago, Rangers went to Wolfsburg and we got somebody else in loan.
Yeah,
and look how that turned out. He was a difference maker for Rangers, Vaj. He was thankful. I worked with him, as you know, for 3 months.
Yeah. And
he was a joy to work with. He would he'd all the attributes you would want in a wide player. And the thing he done was he made the difference in the final third. Whether that was with assists or whether that was with scoring goals. So if this is going to be the case that they're going to get the boy in for Wolfsburg, then I think it would be a statement signing, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. Makes you wonder why they didn't just keep Czerny in the first place.
It was a no-brainer. It was an absolute no-brainer. And if you see for the price he went to Besiktas, I've seen people saying there was nothing, things were in the contract, he was going to go for 8 million, 9 million pound. Well, go and look and see what Besiktas paid for him. An absolute snip.
What was it, 4 and a bit at the end?
I found €5 million.
5 million. What does that mean, do you think, with Gassama? Because obviously Gassama's playing that right-hand role just now, and there's been sniffs, there's been a bit of interest there. Is this, it would be very quick to move him on, but is that the model now? Yeah,
well, he's a player that he frustrates you at times, but he's definitely got something in the locker. There's no doubt about it. Look, he got that penalty last night with a wee bit of magic. Skins a fullback and then turns inside Shinnie. Shinnie clips him, it's a penalty. I just, watching Rangers, as I've did all season, he looks more comfortable on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
But you've got to be flexible as a wide player. You've got to be able to play in either flank. But he just looks more comfortable. He looks more at ease on the left-hand side. And again, I always say it, he can be a difference maker, but everybody has their price. Rangers have a model now. If they buy somebody and somebody comes in and want to spend double on what Rangers paid or treble, Rangers will have to seriously look at it. There's no doubt in my mind. So it'll be an interesting January. I know he's only been here 6 months, but there is signs that there's definitely a player in there with Gassama.
Yeah. All right, Barry. Well, listen, good to catch up with you. We'll get you back again soon on Hotline Live, and let's see what the next few weeks brings.
No problem. Cheers for having me.
Barry Ferguson there. Keith, before I bring in Des Roach, let me throw a couple of these comments at you. Rangers Easy OK says, evening gents, delighted we look like we are backing roll to the hilt. Speculate to accumulate. We are guaranteed to be in the Champions League. If we can win this title, we have to go for it. On Skov Olsen, Chris Gardner says, if he's the bee's knees, Keith, why is he not playing for a bad Wolfsburg side? And he also points out that Maida to Wolfsburg could be back on. Martin O'Neill let slip last week that it was Wolfsburg.
Yeah.
Who were
we did say on here that there was heavy German interest over the summer. We were aware of that. I couldn't have told you it was Wolfsburg. Martin O'Neill did that for everybody last week.
Yep.
And you know, it might be a case of 1 in, 1 out at Wolfsburg if Skov Olsen is lining up a move to Rangers. They could replace him with Maida. That could make perfect sense for them. Certainly, Maida. Even I was a bit troubled by his goal celebration at the weekend, Dan.
I said that as well. I kind of felt like he wasn't really.
Maybe he was just frustrated with the way the game had gone. I don't know.
He'd missed a couple of sitters. I think he was just relieved to score.
Maybe, but he doesn't look happy at his work right now, does he?
No.
And that's got to be a concern, and it's been a long running issue, hasn't it?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that what's like a domino effect if Skov Olsen does secure his move to Rangers. It could be a double blow for Celtic. And just to go back,
I mean, that's actually a bit of a shocker. If Celtic lose Maida and it allows Rangers to get Skov Olsen,
aye,
that's optically a terrible look for the Celtic board who don't need extra terrible looks right now.
Aye, and just to go back to the point that was made in the comments there about, well, if you can't get a game for Wolfsburg, Czerny struggled to get a game for Wolfsburg. And
that's why they let him go
brilliant
on
last season. He was absolutely brilliant. So
yeah, and Barry Ferguson's right. Barry Ferguson was desperate to keep him. Advised the club, I think probably spoke to Kevin Thelwell about it. Was ignored. And as he said, Czerny ended up going to Besiktas for €5 million, and that was a fee that Rangers could easily have dealt with.
Absolute steal. As you can probably see on your screen, we're now joined by the one and only Des Roach. Chris in the comments says, Des looks like he's in a hostage video. Des, are they feeding you well?
Yeah, they're fine. They're absolutely fine.
Blink 3 times for yes, Des.
yeah, all okay. All good, guys.
It's good to have you on, Des.
I'm making dinner just now, so it should be all right.
It's good to have you on. There's plenty of talking points from the weekend, so it's always good to get a resident referee on. Where should we start, Keith?
Oh, Des, you pick.
Whatever you want. Aberdeen Rangers, closest one yesterday.
Okay.
Let's go for it. So the big one I would say from that, of course, is the Fernandes disallowed goal. I mean, how did you see it, this?
Personally, I think it should have been allowed as a goal. The way I viewed it at the time was that Fernandes was the initial player attacking the ball, so he was up first and he was quite entitled to jump for it. In my opinion, Mitov is the one who has had a delayed reaction. He's then come out to challenge for the ball, which he was never going to get. Fernandes had his arms there in the first place. Mitov hit him. And therefore the goal should have stood. I've got no issue with that at all. I'm quite surprised that, first of all, John Beaton got David across, because I think David had a good enough view on it. But my reading of this, and again, I don't think VAR should have been involved in that, because that's a matter of opinion. It's not a matter of fact. In my opinion, and I think what David seen was the same as myself, is that Fernandes is the one who is alert. Fernandes is the one who's moved first. Fernandes is the one who's up attacking the ball. And Mitov is reactional to that, and has got it entirely wrong.
Yeah.
So, my opinion, the goal should have stood.
We've got.
I don't know how often I've actually said this, but your summation there is absolutely spot on, 100%. And wouldn't it be refreshing? And I know it's happened on the odd occasion when a referee gets called over, told to look at it. I would love just to say, do you know what, guys? I'm going to ignore your advice. I know what I've seen. This has just confirmed it. It's a goal.
Yeah.
But it seems as soon as that voice is in the ear, it's almost like 90% certain that the referee's going to go with what some guy's saying in a studio. I don't like that. They're meant to be there as a backup, are they not?
What I didn't like from it yesterday, and I know Sky are privy to the audio, James McFadden actually said this is going to be overturned. He could hear what was coming down the barrel. Do you know who the first person ever to overturn a VAR decision was?
Willie Collum.
Yes.
Was it?
And it was wrong.
Yeah. But that's Willie.
Of course. It was always going to be this way, wasn't it, though? But yes, referees should have far more courage of their own conviction to say, do you know what? I'm going to hang my hat on that one. And not saying that I was the best referee. A lot of folks say I was the worst referee. I'll take it. See if I've got it wrong, but I'm willing enough to stand by my own sword, then fine. I think, as I said, in that position, Fernandes done nothing wrong. He was the person who was attacking it. He was the person who was wanting the ball, and Mitov was reactional, thinking.
Yeah, and Mitov's motion was carrying him into Fernandes, whereas Fernandes is just going up to win a header.
And he's got to use his arms to get there, and he had. It just so happened that Mitov has come in below him. You actually see Fernandes is so far above Mitov. Yeah. And again, that's a cue to me to say that Mitov is late getting there because he can't get as high, and he's the only one who's allowed to use his arms. So no, I think it was wrong.
Most people in the comments agree with you, Des. Paul says that was a good goal. Luke says it should have stood. The goal was shocking, refereeing in VAR. James says, finally a ref with some sense. However, it's not the consensus across the board. David Beattie says, what was Keith on about last night? It was the correct VAR decision to disallow the Fernandes goal for a blatant block on the keeper trying to catch the ball. For what it's worth, I agree with both you guys. It looked to me like Mitov jumped into Fernandes. So I don't really go along with that. But
it was a shocking piece of goalkeeping, matched only by a shocking piece of officiating.
Aye. What was the other talking point from Pataudry?
It was a penalty kick for Rangers.
The penalty kick for Rangers, the Gassama challenge. I think it was Andrew Shinnie, wasn't it? Or sorry, Graham Shinnie.
Graham Shinnie.
What did you see that, Des?
Did some tackle if it was Andrew Shinnie.
Done really well,
It's in this day and age, it's a penalty kick. There was enough contact there. I think what sold the decision. Now, what was the old adage? Penalty kicks are like boiled eggs. You've got hard boiled eggs and you've got soft boiled eggs, but they're still boiled eggs. Penalties, unfortunately, are a bit like that now. You get a harsh penalty, you get a soft penalty. That is very close to the soft penalty. But there was contact from Shinnie. And what sold the decision, not by the referee, what sold the decision was Shinnie's reaction by him.
Shinnie does motion that it's a dive. That's his first thing. He motions to him to get up and then does that with his hands.
But
they said on TV there had been no great reaction from him, but that was his initial response to it.
No, I never. Well, I might be wrong, but I never really picked that up on it. But I
had the same take as you, Des. Like, I mean, Shinnie kind of got up and just sort of looked like he was damn to rights.
Yeah, and I think what he's trying to do there, he's trying to favour his own fans. He's got his own audience to play to there, as if to say, "Oh well, look, he's done something." But it's put it this way: 20 years ago, when you had the rough and tumble of football, that wouldn't have been a penalty kick, in my opinion. But yes, I think there was enough contact. There was, not enough contact, but there was contact.
There was contact. It was on his knee.
Yeah. What I don't think has helped Gassama is the way that he went down, because
I'm interested to explore this, Des.
Okay.
Because he's got a bit of a reputation for it. So see if you're a referee and you're walking out onto a pitch and you're thinking, there's wee Gassama, I'll need to keep an eye on him because he's got previous. Does that factor in? I mean, obviously not in this occasion because he gets the penalty kick, but if you were refereeing, and I'm sure you would have done, I'm sure you walked out onto a pitch and you know there's guys that throw themselves around too easily. Does it affect your decision making?
It doesn't have a bias on your decision making. What it would do is it would make you, like any referee, you do your homework before your game and you look at the teams and you look at the past few games. If it was me, I would make sure that any time Gassama is in or around the penalty area, or any player, not talking about this particular player in per se, is you would want to make sure that you're as close to play in the best position possible to ensure that you're going to get that decision correct. It wouldn't have me going in there thinking, I better watch because this player has a reputation for diving or simulation or whatever, because you can only call what you see at that time and give your honest opinion. But it would certainly make me aware that I know that when things are around the penalty area, I need to make sure that I'm aware and I'm giving myself the best opportunity to potentially catch anything that's going on. And do you know what? 99 times out of 100 probably is a foul against them, but you've got to guard against that one that may make you look stupid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was one talking point from the Celtic game, the 4-0 win over Dundee United on Saturday. Dennis, as one person in the comments says, Des, why has it been over 2 years since Celtic received a red card? Tackle on Saturday was a stonewall red. This is obviously the challenge by Arojo in the second half. I mean, well, first of all, how did you see it, Des?
It's a red card.
It's pretty simple, isn't it?
It's a red card. I think that you look at the contact there. Where's the ball? 3 yards ahead of him. So the ball's gone. So he's not got the opportunity to play the ball. He was high at takeoff. And when I'm using the word takeoff, that means he's out of control because he's off the ground. It's a lunge. It's at speed. It's endangering the safety of an opponent. Why is VAR there? VAR's there to make that, to back up. Nick got his yellow card out very quickly and there was nothing brought. But for me, I think that's the intention. Why is VAR getting involved for the goal at the Aberdeen game and doesn't get involved in this challenge?
Des, I might be wrong about this. I said to Keith before we come on air, am I not correct in thinking that if he's yellow carded, VAR then can't intervene? Or am I totally wrong about that?
No, correct. No, they can't get involved over yellow cards, but this is a potential
red.
They
can get involved in red. So what would happen, Dan, is the referee would take the yellow card out. Am I right, Des?
Right,
do that and then take the yellow card, take the red card. It's been done plenty of times.
But what I would have done, and again, not saying that I'm the font of knowledge, or what I would have done, I would have taken my time rather than rush in with a yellow card and send that signal out. I would have taken my time, composed myself. I'd be asking down the mic to, it was obviously Andrew Dallas again, who was involved, and saying, Andrew, I need another look at this. I need your opinion. I need you to tell me. That's what VAR's there for. VAR's there to get the major decision correct. Now, what I will say, and I think this is where the SFA may, to use Keith's phrase, double down on this. Do you remember the Cornelius challenge in the League Cup semi-final? Where he lunged in? And Willie used the phrase, at the start of the tackle, it's a red card. But when he lands, it's a yellow card. I'm sorry. If you're taking off out of control, then you're out of control. It doesn't matter. You're endangering the safety of an opponent. Now, whether you tackle him on the foot or the ankle, you still need to play football with your foot. So you're going to get injure someone. You're going to hurt someone.
Right, exactly.
I think the crucial difference with that one is the Cornelius one, the ball was there.
Aye.
You can see in that one that the ball's not even remotely close to the impact.
Yeah.
I think that makes a difference. In fact, there's the more that we talk to you about it, the more I'm struggling to think of a box that's not been ticked on that one.
It's a red card. I've got no qualms whatsoever. And I think that if a red card had been given, I don't even think Martin O'Neill or anybody would have had anything to question about that.
See, you mentioned Nick Walsh obviously getting the yellow card out. See, even if Nick Walsh is steadfast in his opinion that was only a yellow card, why aren't the VAR guys at the very least saying, look, going to take another look, it's quite a bad one? I mean, anyone could, Stevie Wonder could see that was a red card.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what VAR's there for. They're there to offer an opinion. They don't have to accept the opinion, as we've said in the previous one, but surely that is worthy of saying, I think you might want to have a look at it. Now, if Nick comes across and says, no, I'm quite happy with it, then fine. Okay, you carry on with it. But to me, I think that's hit every single parameter and every single flashpoint that you should be looking at and ordering off.
It's becoming really frustrating that after all this time we still aren't using VAR properly.
Yeah,
that's the big frustration for me. Is we keep having these discussions. We keep saying, you know, they're there as a safety net to help the referee, to give him a different set of eyes, to give him a look at something perhaps from a different angle. We're just not utilising it. It's a great tool.
Yeah.
But we're not using it properly. So frustrating.
Said it for 4 years. It's not it's not the technology, it's the people operating it. And also how they are being told to interpret things.
Yeah.
Dens Park. Go on, Keith. Dens Park. Dens Park, Des. Sorry, go on.
First one. Yeah, the first one, Claudio Braga's goal, Des. Dundee furious that Hearts didn't take, I think it was Cammy Devlin, took a free kick probably from about 10 yards further up the pitch than where the foul was. Dundee clearly weren't set. For me, it was bad defending. They should have been organised. But the ball was probably moving when Cammy Devlin knocks it forward into Lon Shankland. What was your view on that? Should that goal have stood?
Right, so there's actually quite a lot of facets to this. Is the ball moving? Potentially. I've watched it a few times. That's the bit that I've got more issue with rather than where it was taken, and I'll come back to that. Is the ball moving? Is it there? Right. Okay, potentially. The biggest thing first is the referee switched off. The referee is Ryan Lee. He's not aware of what's happening, and that's what he should be doing. Regarding where the kick was taking place, now I've looked at it, as I'm sure you have, and I'm sure the viewers have, and the readers have. It's taken about a grass stripe away from where the fell. So you're probably talking about 6-7 yards. Not every free kick, not every throw-in is taken from the exact spot where an offence happens, right? So I'm not overly fussed about that. I can understand if you want to go down the laws of the game. Yes, it's meant to take place from there, but how many times do guys steal yardage at corners or throw-ins and free kicks? Okay, the Dundee team should have been set up far better and should have been aware of what's going on, because where is the ball? The ball is still in the Hearts half, so you've still got another 55 yards to go.
Yeah,
that's complacent defending for me. But to me, it's complacent refereeing, because he should have been aware to manage that situation better. The yardage, I'm not going to get caught up with. Yes, it's maybe a couple of yards out in there, but see if that ball had went out for a throw-in or a goal kick, we wouldn't be talking about this.
I think you're absolutely spot on again, Des. I think it's Dundee looking to blame the officials for them being sloppy. I think you're right. They've switched off on that occasion. But I do come back to if the ball is moving, then I think I wouldn't want to see that goal chopped off, because I think that as was the case with the Fernandez goal at Pittodrie that got chopped off. I think we're actually reaching a point now where we're looking for reasons to chop goals off.
Yeah,
goals are the reason that fans pay the money and want to go and watch football and get excited and celebrate. I don't think we should be forensically trying to find reasons to chop goals off. But I'm not even convinced myself. That goal was perfectly fine and should have stood.
That's
even
the
if
way,
the ball, even if the ball was just trickling over a little bit.
If you actually look at it, the Dundee player passes the ball back to Cammy Devlin. And
instead of going and getting set,
yeah, he was the one who passed it back. Devlin's taking a touch, it stopped, and he's taking that opportunity. Right, let's get it, let's get it forward, let's get it moving, which is perfectly acceptable. As I say, is it moving? I can't fully commit to that.
Maybe oscillating.
Oscillating, yeah. So maybe like the way they put the ball over the corner flag, the arc, the shadow is hitting it over. But to me, it's more the referee should maybe have been a wee bit more alert. But I'm not. It's not a shooting offence.
I think
that's Dundee's issue, not the refs.
Yeah, I was just going to say there. What you said there, Keith, about forensically trying to find ways to rule goals out. That's how it feels as a fan now. I feel like you can't celebrate your goal fully because you're
getting penalised for scoring.
Just give me a minute, see if they go through us with a fine tooth comb and find something to rule out with. It's so frustrating.
Well, when VAR came in, that was the phrase that I used. Is this just going to be a fancy way to chop off goals?
Aye. It's turned out that way.
Typical referees, killjoys, a lot of them, guys.
Not one anymore.
The very last talking point from the weekend was again at Dens Park. Alexander Swallow, the Hearts goalkeeper.
I'm looking forward to this one.
He was sent off, which obviously gave Craig Gordon the opportunity to make his world-class save. But how did you see the red card?
Well, before we talk about the red card, and I'm not taking any glory in the red card, I am glad because we would never have seen that save if that hadn't happened. And Craig Gordon's absolutely just cemented his place as Scotland's #1 goalkeeper for a reason for that save. It was incredible. Regarding the red card, yes, it's a red card for me. The reason being that it wasn't malicious, it wasn't there, but the goalkeeper has come outside his penalty area. He's committed himself. He has deliberately brought down the Dundee player, which therefore obviously impeding him. I know that there was a Hearts defender tracking back towards the goal line between the goals. There was a Hearts player 5 or 6 yards away, the left back coming in. Two things. That's not to say that the Hearts player would have got there to make a challenge. The Dundee player the wording is denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. So if the goalkeeper doesn't make the foul, the Dundee player has the opportunity to strike that ball at goal. Not saying he's going to score.
Yeah.
That's not... He could put it into Rose Ed, he could sclaff it, but the opportunity to strike that ball at goal has been denied. Now, and they say there's a covering defender on the goal line. That covering defender can't use his arms. He can only use his body. So how is he going to make himself bigger? What is he going to do? The ball might hit him. That's fine. That's total conjecture. We don't know that. But the goalkeeper, has denied that Dundee player having a potential strike at goal. And as I say, the wording is denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. So take the goalkeeper away. You've got a striker with a defender on goal. Has he got a chance to strike that ball at goal? Has he got an opportunity to score? Yes.
That's the best ball in the world. No, I don't think anybody's arguing about the decision in terms of the foul that Swallow commits when he comes out. I've got a major problem with what happens about a split second before then.
The offside.
And well, look, I think justifiably or not, the lines that the when Tony Yogan goes through, and he's the guy that is then brought down by Swallow. When he goes through, that's borderline, right? But let's just say that the guys in VAR drew the lines on. Everyone's perfect with that. Okie dokie, no problem. See, before that, there's a header by Ash Hay who comes from an offside position. You actually literally see him coming like that. I think it was Stuart Finlay, maybe. He comes back as the ball's in the air. He comes back and gets up in front of him, wins the header, knocks it on. Yeah. Has there been a rule change?
There shouldn't have been. There shouldn't have been.
But that it was so blatantly offside. I could not believe that VAR didn't even check that one.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I found that astonishing.
Yeah, I was surprised myself because he's the one who's then allowed that next phase of play to take place.
Yeah.
So I won't I certainly can't understand and comment on behalf of the guys that are there. But yes, I agree. He has been involved in active play. He's the one who's created that second phase. I can only assume that they've not checked that, and they're only checking they can. As I say, I can only assume because I don't know. I can only assume.
I think you're right. You have to be right.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it was. I mean, I'm not. It wasn't even close. It's not like you need to draw the lines. He was about 3 or 4 yards
It was miles,
deeper than the Hearts defender.
Yeah. So
I find that astonishing. I mean, really astonishing, and actually alarming.
We can't show the clip here, obviously, but Tom in the comments says, Keith, I'm a Hearts fan, but the knock-on header is onside. I checked it back in Sky. He runs back onside before the header. Obviously, we can't check the clip here, but
He runs on back. Yes, he does get onside before the header, but he's coming from an offside position when the ball was in the air, coming towards him. That's offside. Am I making things up here?
No. So the wording of the law is, so being offside isn't an offence. Okay, that's not an offence to be in an offside position. You're only penalised for an offside position if you have interference in the play and an impact in the play. So if you're coming back from an offside position to be the first person to get the ball, then you've had an impact. You've gained an advantage.
Of course
you have.
So that makes perfect sense to me. But
and you saw that the way that I saw it. I'm not, because sometimes you look at it, it's so blatant. Am I missing something here?
No.
But the ball was in the air. He's offside. Ball's coming towards him. He gets himself back onside or back in front of the Hearts defender and wins the flick on.
Yeah. So as I say, I can only assume that they are looking at the next phase of play, which is the attacking phase of play that led to the goal. As I say, I can only assume from my eyes because I don't have any inside knowledge.
And what were we just saying about it's a good tool when it's used properly? We just can't. We're incapable with this. We just can't use it.
Just when you take it, you wouldn't take your car there for an MOT, would you?
Well, in the comments section, everyone seems to be happy. Luke Skywalker says, spot on with everything tonight, Des. I really hope that doesn't catch on. We want a wee bit of fight.
Des has had a blinder tonight, hasn't he?
He has, I know. He's come on. Perfect hat trick.
You can mark my report card at school, that'll be fine.
Des, as always, it's an absolute pleasure having you in the hotline. I love to get you on and get everything cleared up from the weekend. But thanks so much for joining us.
No problem at all, guys. I'm sure I'll speak to you soon.
I'm sure we'll be pestering you again soon.
No bother. All right, guys. All the best. Happy New Year.
Cheers, Des.
Cheers, guys.
Des
Roach, one problem with that is, Dan,
go on.
You just said that we got everything cleared up. Does that clear anything up for you?
No, I mean, the last one was bizarre, I think. But we just said it. Des was spot on for all of them, I think, really.
He was.
I can't disagree with anything he said there. And the reason why I can't disagree with anything he said is because they all seem so straightforward that I can't believe that so many of them go wrong. But there you go. Before we wrap up, Keith, we mentioned at the top of the show, Martin O'Neill has spoken about Celtic's, I was going to say transfer activity, but lack of transfer activity is probably more appropriate. They've recalled Stephen Welsh. He is obviously he's been on at loan at Motherwell. By all accounts, has done very, very well at Motherwell this season. Been one of the standout players in that really impressive Motherwell team. But he's back to Celtic, presumably at first at least to sit on the bench.
Yeah. One of our comments came in earlier suggesting that Trusty pulled up at the end of the game. Austin Trusty pulled up a little bit at the end of Saturday's game. That's a concern. I think that is a concern for the medical team at Celtic as well, which would leave them short, no doubt about it. I think Martin O'Neill's almost apologetic in the way that he's having to do this. I think that there was a certain a window of opportunity to recall Stephen Welsh, and he's obviously chosen to do that because, as he says himself, needs must. But it's far from ideal, obviously, in a far from ideal transfer window, in a far from ideal season, in a far from ideal kind of series of flops in the market for Celtic. I think that the reason that Martin O'Neill sounded almost apologetic is that he knows how much Stephen Welsh is enjoying himself at Motherwell this season. He's getting regular game time, which was the whole idea. But who knew he was going to end up playing such a key role in the best looking team in the country.
Yeah.
Which is what Motherwell have been, I think. And I think, you know, Martin O'Neill, as I said at the start, top of the show, Dan, I think he's exploring the opportunity of allowing Stephen Welsh to go back to Motherwell on loan before the end of this window. Once Celtic get the finger out and get a bit of business done, if that happens.
Well, I mean, there's been talk in the media about Aberdeen potentially making an offer for him. This comment here says Welsh has been brought back to help broker a deal with Hibs for Bowie. Watch this space. But am I not right in saying you can't play for more than 2 clubs in one season? So if Welsh steps on the pitch for Celtic, he can only go back to Motherwell.
Yeah,
I think I'm right in saying that.
Yeah,
aye, so that would make sense.
It's a 12-month rule.
Aye. So, I mean, but just to go back to Celtic for just before we finish, why are they so inept? What is going on? This is just it's beyond bad. It's bordering on ridiculous now. And we've heard that.
Well, people will say, Daniel, that there's still 3 weeks of the window left.
Aye, okay, I get that.
So calm down.
okay.
That's what some people will say.
Aye.
But I think it's perfectly legitimate for Celtic supporters to be looking and scratching their heads going, what is going on here? Because it's not as if they've been blindsided by this. January comes around every year, right at the start of the year, if the Celtic board hasn't noticed. They sold their top striker this time 12 months ago. They failed to replace him. They've sold his understudy, failed to replace him. They had to be aware that January was coming and they better be seen to be busy. And it absolutely, especially given how the optics look around the Celtic board right now, they should have been breaking their necks to get people rolled out through the front door on day 1, day 2, day 3. Yep. Look, we're sorry, we've made mistakes in the past. Not this time, guys. And now you've got Martin O'Neill coming out and saying the same kind of things that you heard Brendan Rodgers say. And Brendan Rodgers got eviscerated for it. And his character assassinated by Dermot Desmond. This kind of rinse and repeat and going back to what you know. I mean, you could even argue that's Steve Welsh coming back as Steve Welsh replacement. having failed to get Kyogo back. It's got to a point where the Celtic board now look like a complete busted flush, incapable of original thought, incapable of rationale. They're just making muddled, panic-stricken decisions. And more often than not, it's go back to what we once did. Go back to that guy, we had him before. Where's the imagination?
No.
Where's the ambition? Where's the professionalism? And you know, so look, there is still plenty of time. Do you know, I actually said in the summer window, Celtic will buy, don't worry about it. They will spend significant sums before the end of the transfer window, and they didn't. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. But I think the chances are that they will. But who knows?
The thing is, I know they're
so muddled.
They've obviously got to the 31st of January, but then they've got Bologna coming up on, I think, the 21st. Exactly. They've got Tynecastle on the 25th. I mean, that game stands out like a beacon. They need to have at least one striker in by then. But I wouldn't hold my breath.
If they don't, then it's a dereliction of duty, not for the first time, but it's also an insult to Martin O'Neill.
Yeah.
They've brought this guy. This guy is doing a heroic job at trying to hold the fort for the second time. And if they don't get bodies in to give him a reasonable chance, there's no point, by the way, signing a player on the 23rd of January saying we've done our work. Here's one. A guy gets one training session before he goes into a potential title showdown at Tynecastle. Are you kidding?
I know. That's crazy.
So no, this is why I think in normal circumstances, you would say, look, there's loads of time. There'll be activity. There'll be signings made. But there's an urgency about this transfer window. And it's been caused by what Celtic's board had failed to do in previous windows, which makes it even more important. So, 100%, I completely get whether there are Celtic fans out there saying, no, this isn't good enough. There should have been bodies lined up in that door in the first 3-4 days of the transfer window. And it's no matter what comes in the transfer window, and maybe there'll be a nice surprise for Celtic supporters. I doubt it, but there might be. But it doesn't excuse the fact that they knew January was coming and they really ought to have had some business ready to sign off on, to give Martin O'Neill the optimum opportunity of turning this season around. He is trying to perform miracles, but he can't do it all on his own. I mean, I'm perfectly sure if Martin O'Neill could access Celtic's money vault, he'd been out there. He'd be driving around the country, picking up players and bringing them to Lennoxtown.
Aye.
So what are these guys do?
The Celtic squad as it stands doesn't win the Premiership. No one will convince me otherwise. So I guess we'll see what happens. Derek in the comments says, great show, and I think that's a great way for us to end tonight's show, Keith.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you very much, Derek, and thank you to everyone in the comments as ever. The comments have been great again. They are the heartbeat of the show, Keith, without sounding too patronising.
Yeah, very condescending, Dan. Smug.
I didn't mean it that way. But aye, thank you for all the comments. Keith, it was an absolute...
Your own show on Norfolk Radio soon.
It was a wee bit Alan Partridge, wasn't it? Okay, I think I'll cut us off now. Thank you very much for watching home, Keith. It's always a pleasure. That's all I'm going to be able to think of it now. We'll be back at 6 p.m. tomorrow for another instalment of Partridge. What is it called? Is it Mid-Morning Matters or something?
Yeah, Up with the Partridge or something like that.
That's it. We'll be back at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Hope you can join us then. Thanks for watching.